Sadly, our president is still on the blame America kick. Joe said it when he listened to the president intermittently today, bits and pieces of the speech. The recurring theme was that somehow Mexico should blame the United States, that somehow the United States is responsible for woes in Mexico. I've got a perfect example, clip one tonight from the Mexico speech, the Mexico City speech. Our president, wait till you hear what he has to say about our Second Amendment south of the border. Listen to more blame America drivel from the President of the United States on foreign soil in Mexico City.
And we also recognize that most of the guns used to commit violence here in Mexico come from the United States. I think many of you know that in America our Constitution guarantees our individual right to bear arms. And as president, I swore an oath to uphold that right, and I always will. But at the same time, as I've said in the United States, I will continue to do everything in my power to pass common sense reforms that keep guns out of the hands of criminals and dangerous people, that can save lives here in Mexico and back home in the United States. It's the right thing to do.
Oh, well, Mr. President, well, let's see here. First of all, most of the guns come from the United States? No. Whole bunch of firearms end up in Mexico courtesy of the Chinese and the drug cartels. Now, it is true, Mr. President, that your administration worked mighty hard on something called Fast and Furious when you put firearms knowingly in the hands of members of the Mexican drug cartel, when we had gun dealers in the United States picking up the phone and calling the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and saying to the agents, hey, guys are in here trying to buy weapons they shouldn't have access to, only to have BATF agents say, go ahead and complete the sale. We're following it. No. Weren't following it closely enough. An American Border Patrol agent killed with one of those weapons, sold as part of this so-called sting during Fast and Furious. Untold Mexican citizens killed by those weapons, sold during Fast and Furious. And, Mr. President, I know you depend on instant amnesia, or let's be honest, a lack of intelligence and critical thinking among the masses to continue to peddle your drivel. But, Mr. President, as long as there is breath in my body and I get access to a microphone, and I thank Dr. Savage for this opportunity this evening, I am very happy to point out the patented falsehoods you are peddling today south of the border. And I'm happy to remind those within the sound of my voice that, Mr. President, so concerned were you about oversight and investigation, getting to the source of this, that you declared executive privilege for Eric Holder at the Department of Justice as Attorney General. And I will tell you, in my opinion, Eric Holder is up to his mustache in the dastardly deeds of Fast and Furious. And it is also my opinion that Janet Napolitano, as Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, likewise was complicit in this shame. And to think that Janet Napolitano spoke at the funeral of the Border Patrol agent Brian Terry and uttered the inane phrase, our border's more secure than it's ever been, and understand that Secretary Napolitano's well, I won't call them accomplices. Well, maybe I should. I'll let that word stand. Accomplices, some members of her gubernatorial administration when the people of Arizona unfortunately had elected her governor, one of her protégés was the United States attorney who absolutely was carrying out Fast and Furious in Arizona. And yet the President of the United States today is in Mexico City saying that he's going to do everything in his power to stop firearms from the United States getting into Mexico. Mr. President simply stated, you do not tell the truth, even to an audience of non-citizens. Oh, mercy. 855